participation of RES, energy transition, all these are the issues. To our next speaker, Ms. Yarentis, what is your comment? Thank you for the invitation in this energy forum, which is a point of a meeting point for all the energy players. It's true that we are meeting today in a very interesting coincidence. We have an RES model that has been established, and at the same time, we see a transition, an energy transition that will change the whole picture of the energy world during the end of this decade. All these things happen amongst turbulent situations, an energy crisis, changes in prices, changes in production rates. And within this situation, we need to see how we're going to reach the next day and in the best way. The only certain things is that we have to remain within the game. I believe that all of us consider that in order to mitigate the consequences of any high prices, of this transition, of this vulnerability of the market, volatility of the market, we need to be more faster in the penetration rate of RES. We have seen, nevertheless, that the consequences are beneficial when the RES reach the market, especially during the peak hours, in midday, for example. But don't forget that the whole market has put all its hopes in the DBAs that will stabilize its energy cost schemes. I think that all these things will show us that we have to act fast so that we can decrease the increasing trends in natural gas prices. I believe that gas has to exit the scene slowly, but of course we have to wait to see how soon storage units will be established. Of course, RES plus storage will be the two dimensions that will make us independent from the natural gas prices and will make us independent in the case of natural gas deficits in the area. As we see, the RES have entered the market smoothly. We don't have any problems, and we nowhere did we need any big interventions in order to smoothen their entrance. We see that we don't need to fix the system for the smooth operation. The only standing question is how fast they can function, which is translated to how fast licensing can be accelerated so that the whole system can function properly. As regards the various measures to protect tenders, I don't think that we need any important interventions here. We do have we have proposed some corrective measures, as Mr. Loumakis mentioned, so that we don't have any manipulation, if I may use this word in this context, of the tender outcomes, and when some players leave the PPAs outside the real market. I think that regulation has to be stricter here in order to reach the results that we want to reach, in order to define which exactly is going to be the manipulation margin. As regards the market, I think that we don't need to be hasty. That's the only thing to do. I believe that balancing prices will happen, so we have to be very careful not to create any further turbulences in this volatile market. And when the RES units will be fully integrated, we need to find a way to channel this modification of the system in a smooth way so that we can manage the operation in the best way. Now, as regards storage, I think that this is an open question. A lot of things have to be done, and I think that many things have already started. I believe that the situations are going to be fast. I think that pumping and batteries are the two main solutions today. I believe that hydrogen is going to play its role in the future, and I hope that we'll have more solutions to choose from. As regards greenhouse gas emissions that have to be lowered, we have the Fit 55 target for Greece, which actually means that RES are going to enter the energy consumption landscape by 80%, 80%. This is impressive. How can we speak about RES increase if we don't have extended infrastructures to store the energy? Do we consider that the buffer of the system will always be natural gas? I don't think that this is a plausible, a feasible alternative. So I believe that this is not the correct solution. So in my opinion, batteries and pumping are the two main solutions. So if penetration is to be smooth, as the 2030 targets are, in 2025, it is going to be very expensive not to have storage. In 2025, if we don't have any storaging solutions, we will not be able to operate, because the framework has to change and include these pooling methods within it. That's the only way that we can absorb the turbulences of the transition period. But of course, turbulences have to lead to a better situation, not a worse one. Now, as regards ELAPE, we heard Mr. Loumakis and Mr. Teretos. We don't know how the operation of this scheme will be in the future. As regards the old organization, we do understand that when we have a positive balance, it's going to be good to use it in order to smoothen the consequences after the high prices. It's a mechanism to get the benefit from RES back to the consumers. Indeed, but it is true that the consumers supported the RES through their payments throughout these years. So now this is going to be paid back. But nevertheless, it is important to know that we have reached this balance at a high cost for the consumers in the past. This is true. We also need to find the best configuration of the pillar that we are going to determine in order to have an alternative in case of problems. Mr. Papakonstantinou.